Hi, welcome to Backstage on WKDW 97.5 FM Real Community Radio. I'm your host, Jax Resto, and I'm backstage again with Chris Day of Shore Patrol to expound on our previous topic, Why Not Now, and to discuss today's topic, winging it.
Ooh,
okay, because different. We know in this business we often have to wing it, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you about some of your experiences with winging it. You know, like if something goes wrong or somebody asks you to do a song that you really don't know. And you don't.
That's all part of cover bands.
Yeah, exactly. So all right. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Say.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Chris always brings his beautiful wife. What's your name again?
Debbie,
his beautiful wife Debbie, for moral support. She's our audience, our live audience.
She's our biggest
We could actually say we're recording in front of a live audience.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
She's my rock.
Awesome. All right. So winging it. So I want you to just first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself again and your band.
Again, we're Shore Patrol. We're out of Cape Coral. And we've been together for just over a year playing. The band name has been around for about 2 years, and we've had a complete change in membership over the last year. Some because they had to leave, and others because it was the right move. We actually just made a recent change, brought in a new bass player. I want to go through all the names of the band members, but Dan Paradise, he joined us on keys and vocals.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, I'm talking about a show name.
Working with
right.
Paradise.
Yeah, I tell him, is that your real name?
Living in Paradise.
So he's been a fantastic addition to the band. He's only played 2 gigs with us so far.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was a very recent change. We were looking for somebody.
Which is part of winging it.
This was actually planned, but it was part of winging it in the sense that we realized that you have to do more and be able to do more with your band to stay in competition with the area and all the music, the fine music that's out there. So again, we're at Cape Coral and we've been playing for about a year. And the response that we have gotten over the last year has just been absolutely amazing, far exceeding any of our expectations. The response from everybody. We are actually getting phone calls now from people. Are you interested in playing?
Wow.
And instead of going out and being a door-to-door salesman, we're actually getting phone calls. So the response has been tremendous. And
people don't realize that there's an art in being a cover band. I mean, a good one anyway. Because I've been in bands before, and most of the time it was original bands. And of course, with original bands, you have to write your own material, and it's a lot of work. But being in a cover band's a lot of work too, because we were talking earlier off mic about how people expect to hear certain things. People are familiar with cover songs, and if you don't play you can be an original band that plays cover songs and spin it your way, and that's fine.
Right.
But most cover bands who play in clubs, dance clubs and bars and stuff like that, they pretty much like to cover songs more or less the way the songs are played originally.
Right. Yeah.
So
we talked about that in the last interview, where I think there's 3 different types of bands. You have we'll start at the top, and you have a cover band like our friends Made in Kane,
right,
where they're
like
they're a tribute, high level. They're not even a tribute band. They do tribute level music,
right,
but they're not a Bon Jovi or Doobie Brothers.
Exactly, yeah.
So they do a tribute to the ages of rock and music. But so you have that level, and they put on a full arena level show, and then you have I'm going to put us in this next category, and that's where we're between. We do festivals, and we'll do that type of concert, but we also do bars and benefits and things like that. But the amount of work that goes into that is equal to me in putting on if you're one of those top level cover bands. And then you have I'm going to call them the lower level bands, where the ones that we were just talking about earlier, where they're just putting music together. They want to get out, they want to make fast dollar, or they just want to go out and play. They're a jam band. That was the name I was looking for. So
I've been in one of those too.
Yeah, and some people
15-minute songs.
Yeah, so right. Let's let the guitar go for 10 minutes. But so I kind of create like these 3 categories of bands, especially with cover bands. But in either case, you still have to put a level of effort that I think in some ways is equal or greater than somebody who's doing originals, like we just mentioned before we went on. you can kind of go off, right, the road a little bit when it's your original because nobody knows. They have no frame of reference. But when you're doing a cover song, they expect to hear it a certain way, and you can get away with certain, like certain bars where everybody's drinking, they're probably half hear what they're listening to anyway. But if somebody's really listened to the music and they really want to hear, the richness of the song, and they want to hear it the way they heard it on the record, right? Or even when you hear the original artist play it at a concert, they don't play it the same way, and sometimes that's really disappointing. So, our band, we always focus on, we want to be tribute level. Yeah. So we want to put the full quality into the music and the sound and everything else. But, to meet that requirement does take, I think, a lot more effort. To some degree. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the original artists.
I agree with you.
But you're trying to cover different artists and give them all due justice. Right. And that's tough to do with one band trying to cover 20, 30 different types of bands.
Right. And it's not just you trying to learn, for example, the lyrics or the guitarist trying to learn the guitar. Then you all have to learn how to make it fit playing together. And there's an art to that too.
Not every song works with every band. Some songs, everybody might love them. But then when you get in and start playing it, it just doesn't feel right to us.
Well, plus sometimes for the singer, you have to change the key, and it doesn't work with all songs. You can't do that with every song.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and some people, our bass player Doug Ormanson, he's our bass player, and he'll mention all the time, or he has to detune. Mm-hmm. Well, me, I have no idea what detuning means. I look at a chord chart and I have no idea what I'm looking at. But
whatever.
Yeah, right. So he'll detune. He says, I can go down to an E. I don't want to go to E flat. I'm like, okay. What button on your bass is the E flat?
Drummer, E flat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there are some songs that just don't fit the feel of the band because of either the adjustments that you have to make, and the fact that you might have 3 songs that you're doing doing a song in C or F sharp or whatever, but then you have to completely change, and now you got downtime between songs that you're worried about, and you can't have a lot of downtime, between songs or dead air, and so all these things are considerations when you're doing it. So sometimes, it's not a matter of winging it; that goes into extreme planning, and it does change.
One thing I noticed that was very different from when I was in my first original band was there was more room for talking and space in between. Afterwards, I played in clubs, and then it was like, we don't want that. We don't want to talk in between. We got to make sure we have enough material and enough material that flows into each other so that there's not that space in between because people, they lose interest really quick. With an original band, it's a different mentality that goes to see an original band. So I see what you're saying. When everything's got to fit together.
Even down here when we're playing outside, right? The Florida weather. I mean, it could be 95 degrees out, 90% humidity, and you're playing outside. So you need to have breaks between songs, and we try and plan that as much as we can. But sometimes, we know we're going to go from one song to the other. That's planned. Well, all of a sudden the drummer feels a little overheated. And he's got to take a sip of water, and that 15 seconds to do that it's dead air, right? And you're kind of standing there, and if you can't wing it.
Right.
Back to the topic, right? You have to figure out what to say to the crowd, and and if you're trying to get a drink yourself or do something, you have to make sure that there's some kind of show still going on in front of the crowd, or they start turning, and talking to somebody or walking away, they get bored, like you said.
Haze. Glaze
they're right. There's a glaze that forms. And I've been known to do some kind of weird things up on stage. Not that we can't talk about on the radio, but you might.
Don't worry, I've got a bleep thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a wireless microphone, right? And I've been known to walk out in the crowd and just walk up to somebody and start an interview with them.
That's cool.
Yeah, just to change the pace while there's that dead space. So it's really weird how you have to do things like that, no matter how well you plan and how well you time.
Yeah, there's always going to be.
Yeah.
Now, what is your most memorable example of winging it in the band?
Oh man, there's been so many. We had. I was up in the Philadelphia area in my last band before I moved, and undercover. I love giving these guys a bleep because they're really great guys. But we were playing at Parks Casino outside of Philadelphia, and in the middle of a song, our guitarist's guitar cable came out.
Oh.
popped right out because he moved and it yanked right out, and it actually broke the cable.
Oh no!
So now we're in the middle of a casino lounge, dead air, and I can only say so much. So I actually stood up there and I started telling jokes. I became a comedian. And they were
people laughing.
Yeah, people actually liked it. I think they did anyway. But you didn't know what to say because there was about 5 minutes of downtime and 5 minutes of dead air. When you're watching a band, people will just walk out. Right? They get bored. So it worked out really well. People had a lot of fun with it, and I think that's what worked was, it kind of admitting that there's an issue and rolling with it. The whole wing it thing was just, you have to take it in stride. You got to take off the show hat and just become a person. You're up on stage and then just start interacting with the crowd more, not as a performer talking to the audience, but as a person talking to a person. And
one of the most important things, and I'll say this as a former circus aerialist, one of the most important things to have is the ability to wing it, because that can be a matter between life and death. It does become just so automatic. I'm making out my shopping list while I'm 30 feet up in the air doing this stunt. I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden something goes wrong and you're like, because you're on automatic, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh God, what happened? What do I do? Winging it, I put that at the top of pretty much anything you do. So entertainment for sure, because even if it's not life or death, it could be the life or death of your career.
Always keep a smile on your face.
Oh yeah, that too.
And I think that's a big piece of it, right? As long as they know that you're still having a good time, and that's showmanship. Exactly. If you're playing and you make that mistake, they always say play through the mistake, keep playing, because most people don't know that you made the mistake, right? Most of the time it's the band members that hear their own mistake or see their own mistake. And if somebody's out in the crowd that's a musician, they're trying to find that mistake, right? They'll hear it. But the nice part is that when you're doing cover music, you can always hide behind the fact that, I meant to do that. It's just a cover song. Yeah. Right? We're doing a cover version of it, and we're adding the Shore Patrol version of it. So when you make a mistake, you say, no, that was intentional. We try not to do that, but that happens, and a lot of times that allows you to get away with it. But they probably get away with that more when the original artists are doing their own songs in a concert, right? Because they're constantly changing their music when they get to live performances.
Yeah, it's just that the key is just act like you know what you're doing. Like, you ever walk into a place you're not supposed to, and you just walk in like you belong there, and nobody stops you?
Oh, I always do. Yeah. I walk in, it's always about me, so I walk in like, all right, you're not paying attention to me. Right then.
So what is your favorite so far experience with the band?
I think I honestly believe my favorite experience was the first time we did play down at Pinchers in Fort Myers Beach. We actually got to sit in for another great band in the Cape Coral area, Dead Dynamics, and they had a private party and they couldn't make the event. Okay. So we got a phone call. I've been trying to get into that place for a long time. And that's the door-to-door salesman thing, right? It's a consistency factor. And they called me up and said, would you be interested in playing? So of course, it's the place sits on the beach. So where we set up, we turn and we watch the sunset while we're playing. It was just absolutely fabulous. But the crowd was so energized. It was over top energy across the whole patio back into the tiki. And you knew it was because Deb is very shy. She doesn't like to be the center of attention. And by about halfway through the event, she was actually standing on the subwoofer with her camera taking pictures of the crowd. Nice. So it was such a relaxed atmosphere, and the energy was so strong. Everybody, I don't think there was one frown in the place. Everybody was just excited and partying and dancing. There were people dancing from the first song 3 hours later into the last song, and they were yelling for more. It was so the interaction that gets us energized. So we don't have to wing it at that point because it just flows. Whatever comes out, we're not thinking about what we're playing at that point. So the excitement and the energy just drove us through the entire event. And the whole reason I do this is because I see a reaction from somebody, even if it's for that 5 minutes or one evening. And, we can put a smile on their face and make them happy. Boy, I'll tell you, it's like playing a bad round of golf 20 times, and then you're ready to throw your clubs into the lake, and you hit that one sweet stroke. I mean, it just goes perfect. You're back in. But we get that every time we go out, and it just keeps us driving and keeps us going for the next event.
What are your favorite types of gigs to play?
I've sort of changed my attitude with some of this. I mean, I really love playing. I love playing in the casinos, because I think because of the stigma, right? You're playing in a bigger venue, and so there's a certain rating as a band that goes along with being able to play a larger event. We played festivals. When we opened for Maiden King last year, that was fantastic. It was a big concert arena. But we as a band, I think we're still kind of drawn to the smaller venues. And I've even heard that from some of the big bands.
Warmer?
Thank you. Yeah, warmer. It's a smaller crowd. I personally love playing outside. I just think it's great, especially down here. You just sort of fits the environment. Being able to play by the water, like you said, the last couple events we played were by the water, and I thought it's kind of like watching the waves break. Right, you're sitting out drinking a cup of coffee. It's very soothing, and I think there's a therapeutic aspect to being able to play like that. So I think for me, it's just about playing outside. Our guitarist Jim Stewart, he has this floor pedal pad. We're trying to do so many different types of groups, and they all have these really unique sounds. Yeah. And we're trying to replicate some of those sounds at least because they're really important to the song. We always tease them about it, but we realize that there's a lot of importance to that equipment. Our bass player, Doug, he has a lot of synthesizing that he does to a harmonizer. I call him the doctor because he's our surgeon. He tears the songs apart and really breaks them down and says, look, this part's important, that part's important. And so all that extra work that you have to do is all part of the setup and breakdown.
Right.
And if you don't have that, what do? You can't work. There's certain pieces in songs that you can't work around.
Right.
Or you can't do the song. And I think that's what makes Shore Patrol unique is we're able to do some of these songs because we put that extra effort into making the things that are important to that song and make sure they're there.
I could sit here and talk to you all day, but we're kind of out of time. But is there anything else you'd like to say real quick before we go?
Yes, I would like to introduce the rest of the guys.
Okay,
because I talked about a couple of them. We talked about myself, Chris Day. Doug Ormondson is our bass player. Bill Hanty is our drummer. Jim Stewart is our guitarist, and our new keyboardist vocalist is Dan Paradise. So again, I think that the marriage and the personalities with all these have really done us justice. Nice. Because we all have the same mindset going into how we want to play music and how we want to entertain our audience. So I think it's fantastic. So we're really happy about it.
Terrific. Well, let me know when you make it down this way, and I'll come hear you guys play.
I will, yeah.
I'll try to convince my husband to make the trip a little farther south.
Well, we have an extra room, so you're always welcome. And our rates are no different than any other local hotels.
Well, thank you so much for coming back, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much.
Tell the guys that they're welcome too.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to Backstage at WKDW 97.5 FM Real Community Radio. I'm your host, Jax Resto. Don't forget to tune in to WKDW's other great shows like Behind the Doors with Marie LaBrosse, Tropical Tarot and Beyond with Pamela Jones, and Pet TV with the Everetts. Check the programming guide for details at www.kdwradio.com. Up next, Too Much to Remember.